All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Wednesday, October the 24th of 2018. It is now 9:04 a.m. This is George Papasoff, Trade Pro Academy. I'll be walking you through a few updates here in the stock market. Right, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started. Hoping the camera still works because we've had some trouble with it. I don't know what the issue is, but anywho. You can see Victorio's sandwich here on the desk. We're going to have to talk to him about eating white bread. We have to give him a more nutritious source to power that trader. Oh, that's going to be a meeting afterwards. All right, let's get started. In Asia, Japan's up 0.4%. Hong Kong's down the same. China's up 0.3. India's up 0.6. We're getting some bullish momentum, or at least stabilization across the Asian equity markets. In Europe, at midday, London's up 0.7%. Paris is up 0.7%. My French is bad. Frankfurt's up 0.3%. Europe green across the board. Futures in the United States, Dow is down 0.6, S&P is down 0.7, Nasdaq is down 0.8%, but they've rebounded since. Yesterday we saw one hell of a sell-off. It was a very sharp and fast decline on pretty sizable volume. And in yesterday's morning market update, we told you to sell rallies early on, early U.S. session rally, which we got. It rallied up to the volume weighted average price of VWAP. It turned and it never looked back, and it dropped down to session lows. We got below 2,700. What do we get? 26.93. I think Sergio, one of our traders, got long on the 26.95 for the way back up. So we traded the downside and we reversed it right at the right time because we saw the right things and started taking trades on the upside. So it was a very, very lucrative day yesterday. The way the market bounced back yesterday smells like there was some rescue buying in there. The PPT, if you guys know what that is, called the Plunge Protection Team. Look it up. It's actually a factual body of or branch that exists, that was created by the government to go in on the open market and buy future securities to stabilize the markets. I saw signs of them being out there yesterday below 2,700. And we called it to the T on that turning point. Anywho, let's not take too much credit and pat ourselves on the back. Let's get into some history here. On this day in 1929, today, the Dow closed down 2.1% on record volume of 12.89 million shares on Black Thursday, as they call it. It was the first taste of the great 1929 crash. This was leading up to it. By 10:30 in the morning, blue stock or blue chip companies are dropping $5 to $10 per share at a time across the bids. All right, and the ticker tape was running 16 minutes late. Could you imagine your data feed or your quotes, your charts were delayed by 16 minutes? You'd freak out. You'd call your broker and start swearing at them in an active market like that. But back then, that's all the technology they had. They had to wait for all the orders to go through. There was a backlog, 16-minute delay they were trading with, and they were dropping with each single trade within that 16 minutes by $5 to $10. So imagine the slippage you would get on that. Stocks like RCA was down 35%. Montgomery Ward nosedived 40% on that day alone. And a banker's pool was formed to put a floor underneath the plunging market to support it. And that, that, ladies and gentlemen, is very interesting. Since the beginning of time and the beginning of markets, there's been interest to protect the downside, but allow the upside to continue to overrun. Right? Donald Trump's pissed that Jerome Powell's raising rates on an overheated market because that shouldn't happen. That should be a free market. But when it's dropping and everyone comes out to buy in the dip, that's allowed somehow. Anywho, crude oil yesterday was down 4.2%. Saudi Arabia announced some intention to increase their output. They didn't mention by how much or when, but it marked the single largest drop in one day in crude oil since July. Think about it, it's not that long ago. Crude oil is very active. Today is crude oil day because we have the inventory report coming up. We'll talk about that in a moment. Gold's down 0.3%. Bitcoin's up 0.7, still just hanging around mid 6,000. And that's that. All right, 7 a.m. we had mortgage applications come out, more positive. The 30-year mortgage rates on average went up to 5.11% on the interest versus 5.0. Slight increase in borrowing rates, not a big amount. We have this morning the FHFA housing price index at 9 a.m. We already had it. 9:45 PMI composite flash. 10 a.m. we have Fed's Bostic speaking. We have new home sales. We also have the Bank of Canada rate statement announcement. They're expected to hike rates by a quarter basis point. 11:15 is a press conference. 10:30 is not natural gas. The Department of Energy's petroleum inventory reserves or oil inventory day. 11:30 Fed's Bullard speaks. 12:30, Fed's Messer speaks. 1 p.m., results of a 39 5-year note auction. All right, 2 p.m., Fed's Beige Book and Bostic speaks again. So we have one hell of an economic day here. Right, we're gonna have a lot of news. The news squawk is gonna be running all day long. I can hear it already. It's gonna be a busy day. There's gonna be a lot to watch for. A lot of things are gonna be moving. You gotta be watching a lot of markets. These are the kind of days I invite you to sign up for a trading room and just be with us. You need somebody or a group of people who've been doing this for a long time. The moderation panel has been trading for well over 50 years combined. So you need somebody that's been following markets for a long time to break it down for you. Because on a very busy economic day like this, it's easy to get latched onto one number and blow out your account where that one number didn't even mean anything. All right, so you got to kind of be around somebody who can break it down for you in a more simple to understand way. And that's what our community is for. It's not just me. It's not just one person or another person. All of us pitch in our insights and knowledge. And what happens is instead of having one opinion, you're now trading with market collective. Now it's sentiment. It's a whole different thing. Powerful thing. All right, earnings this morning. AT&T hits its Q3 target in earnings per share revenue. So does UPS. Domestic package revenues are up 8.1% year over year. Boeing smashes earnings, 3.58 versus 3.5 expected. 3.45 expected and 25.1 billion revenue on 23.7. That's all good Q3 numbers. Good earnings across the board. Tesla is up 12% because Elon Musk fast-tracked the earnings release date, and that led a lot of Wall Street analysts to believe that there was some kind of positive surprise coming. Just to remind you guys, Elon Musk has said that he wants to report quarterly results of positive cash flow for the 3-month period leading up to it. So if you can report that, I think a lot of analysts are going to turn bullish on the stock and they're going to say, hey, look, this company's making a turnaround. Let's see if we give it a shot. You'll see an influx of a lot of volume coming into that stock price, up 12% already, and earnings are coming out today. All right, sooner than expected. Now let's touch on 2 minutes tops, 2 to 3 minutes. Let's touch on what happened here with Donald Trump yesterday and what he said. Pretty dangerous stuff to be saying. Since the Federal Reserve was created, all right, and it was created with the intent to support markets and to prevent collapses, all right, to kind of help the economy along. It was designed to be independent from the government branch, all right? They weren't supposed to be together. They're supposed to operate as a separate, independent institution. Donald Trump's challenging that. He's not the first president to do it. All right, there have been examples where Federal Reserve chairman and chairman, because there wasn't any women before Janet Yellen, would be called into a room and told, look, it's not a recorded conversation. You need to stop raising rates. It's not the first. Donald Trump's not doing something that's unprecedented. He's just doing it openly, and that's kind of the trouble behind it. That's what a lot of things are misunderstood here. Donald Trump just does things. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care because he's not a career politician. He just works on sometimes logic, sometimes his heart, and he just says stuff that he thinks is important. And he just went out there and said, you know what, Jerome Powell's doing a crappy job. To sum it up for you, not to read the quotes for you, he said he shouldn't be raising rates. I don't know if I picked the right guy to be in here. One of my biggest challenges right now is the Federal Reserve raising rates, and I don't think he should do it. He flat out said, I think you're making a mistake. The problem with that is now that he's starting to influence the Federal Reserve, and that's not the intent. There's voting members in the Federal Reserve and Federal Reserve bank members and presidents across the country. All right. There's a lot of states have their own Fed within them, and that president goes to vote one year, and then the voting rights rotate as well about the Federal Reserve. But the main point I'm trying to make here is you're putting that kind of power into one person. Jerome Powell has the most amount of influence in the Fed. If Jerome Powell is here's what happens. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is trying to influence the Fed not to raise rates because he thinks the economy is going to drop. He said Obama had 0 interest rates. I should too. First, I'm not going to go into that. It's flawed thinking from the very start. However, I'll tell you this. Going on record and telling Jerome Powell not to raise rates is the surest way for Jerome Powell to continue raising rates. Now, the market's done something interesting here. From a day ago, we were at 81.4% likelihood of a hike in December. It would be the 4th for 2019. 81.4% to today, this morning, 71.4. 10% drop in odds of a rate hike. So you're wondering, will Donald Trump's words have impact? The market thinks so. All right. The hold for December went up from 13 to 22%. So almost everyone that thought they were going to raise in December, almost everyone that changed their opinion to not going to raise. Obviously, that's what they're going to change it to. Point I'm making here is the market is thinking this is going to have an impact. If the Federal Reserve wants to remain individual and uncontrolled and unbiased from government, it needs to just continue forward with what it's going to do. And that's what Jerome Powell's already said. This isn't the first time Trump's attacked them. Attacked them before. Jerome Powell said, great, markets are going to have to continue, and we're going to continue our strategy of what we've been talking about at the Fed. He kind of shrugged them off. This time, it's a little bit more of a powerful message from Trump. I don't think if Jerome Powell lets off the gas of what he was planning to do, they should end the Fed, abolish the Federal Reserve. If you're going to take directive from the president, give the power to the president, end the Fed. That's it. You know, it makes it much easier that way. It's less burdensome, less administrative work, but they're not going to end the Fed. All right. The Federal Reserve works for the top 1% to sustain market momentum. So, anyways, here's what I'm going to tell you. This thing over the last couple of days from Donald Trump, it sounds like nothing. You're like, oh, Donald, you're going over there. It's a very significant shift in what we've seen in the last couple of decades. And now it's openly on the radar. Watch out. All right. Very interested to see what Jerome Powell says. These Federal Reserve speakers that are going to be talking today, all 30 of them. There's a lot of people talking. Bostic, Bullard. Bostic talks twice. All right. Messer throughout the day. Listen to what they're going to say. Very important. Don't listen for the word Trump. Read between the lines. All right. Be very critical. Be judgmental of this. There's huge opportunity coming up. That's it for today. I got to open up the trading room. I can talk about the Fed for ages, and I'm not going to. That's what you need to know. Today, I got a feeling we get a little bit of a rebound early on. I don't know how long this rebound lasts. Yesterday, I was convinced it wouldn't last long, and I started hitting the shorts pretty early on in the day. Today, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a chance to show me what it's got. And as long as it's showing me, I'm going to be riding it up. All right? If it stops showing me what it's got, then I'm going to flip to the downside. Early morning, buy the dips. Mid-morning to early afternoon, we could flip the sell and rally, see if we got some more downside. All right, that's the prognosis. 10:30, we got oil inventory. We got a huge bunch of opportunity. See you guys in the trading room. Also, big news, we just launched a free training. So everyone that's over here listening, head over to TradeProAcademy.com. We have a 6-video free training series that you absolutely must get your hands on. What is it? It's the first lesson of each one of our paid courses. Now you get a chance to sample futures, options, Forex, trading psychology, anything you want. It's pretty much like being able to go in a cafeteria or in a restaurant and be able to pick a little bit off of every plate to decide what you want. If that doesn't excite you, check your pulse. See you guys there. Go TradeProAcademy.com. The free training is on the top of the page. Just click the link and get on there, and you'll get the videos emailed to you. Thank you guys. Have a great day. One hell of a morning market update. Now you got to shut up, turn around, and trade. All the best. Manage your risk. Trade Pro. Goodbye. Marky. Felt a little bit rushed there. That's fine, man. That's what I'm here for. All right, Trade Pros, let's look at some levels together. I'm going to talk about S&P 500. I'll give you some levels of good trade ideas. Victoria's going to do NASDAQ. And Boxy is going to do oil. And we're really excited for oil inventory. Today's the day within 1 hour you can make your whole income for a week. Heck, the way the oil market's moving right now, today you might be able to make your whole monthly income in 1 hour. So let's get started.